This call is being recorded.
All right. Please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions whatsoever. That is totally fine. Um, and yeah, I'm glad we're doing this Synastry report. Um, please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions. And yeah, I'm gonna begin this shortly. All right, cool.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm writing some questions down as we speak, so I'm excited to learn.
I think this is the first Synastry chart I've done with mother and child. So this is very exciting.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, no problem. No problem. And thank you for your patience.
Certainly. I understand that expertise quality takes time, and I've come to you previously for other astrological reports. I was very
Yeah.
satisfied with the results. Yes, so um, definitely my support again.
Awesome. Well, we know right off the bat, let's see. Oh, there we go. There we go. So we know right off the bat, um, we are dealing with the connection between Sun in Virgo and, of course, Sun in Pisces, which is already very fascinating. We see the opposite signs, and then both of you have Moon in Aries. That is amazing.
Yes, there's more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's totally an alien, which is even more. Seriously, can't
That
make
is
this up.
great.
So I'm gonna share with you an alien construct article um, that we'll kind of go more into, and that's why I'm very grateful because I don't really read. I don't think I've read many charts of anyone born in 2013. So this is really the first time I think, or the second time I'm profiling Sun Neptune. Your daughter is already one of the most magical beings alive.
Oh, gratitude. Oh, wow. Well, I can see her chart's pretty impressive. I'm not, a professional at all, but I'm like, where do you see that at? There's
Right,
just
I'm
so
glad
much.
you asked. So the Neptune in her sign, which is amazing because I've spoken to a woman who was born in the 70s who has this in Sagittarius. So before I even told her, before I even really spoke about her having this, she confirmed that she has dreams. She can actually just see into the reality of other people, what they're thinking. And we have to think that Neptune rules Pisces. So to have this in Pisces now supernaturally augments her ability to process information by always knowing the ultimate meaning. It's kind of like she has intuitive goggles where even if she doesn't have all the details, she's always going to come into the ultimate understanding of an experience, maybe before she's able to process why she knows. And this is going to, as a Neptunian power alien, enable her to ascend, dance the sacred dance, hypnotize, heal using music. There's a lot actually. Talk to the dead, access the astral plane. This is going to be, she may already start astral projecting and lucid dreaming.
Wow.
She can sense dreams, desires, because this is where, Pisces has its natural power. And on top of that, she has Uranus on her moon. And so she's a Uranian vessel alien. I have this in Capricorn. where she can, of course, comprehend the cycles and trends of the future, safely correlate electrical or erratic energy, channel high frequency beings, hold the truth about another person, predict conceptions, read the minds of teenagers, predict election outcomes. So, in Aries, this is like now a double whammy here. And you know what? Even though, right, it's not exactly um no, it's not exactly on AC. I'm going to put Uranian instrument alien because she has it within 10 degrees of her AC, and it falls in her first. So she can see future, talk to anyone of any station and status, use her body as an amplifier of energy, lead humanity to the new age. Neptunian instrument aliens can reflect the inherent god and goddess back at individuals. So that's something that as Neptune gets closer to her rising, where it is right now, she's also inherited, and this makes her a deeply sensitive, super psychic being, which, is even more relevant that both of you are connected in this way because this is, in my opinion, like soulmate or twin flame energy, where
Yeah.
both of you have the same soul space, but it's expressed opposite through the opposite spirits, opposite signs. Very, very key. Even more so seeing that your moons are within 10 degrees of each other. Your vessel holds space for this very supernaturally unconventional nature of her inner world. Mars is in Aries, so that's even cooler. The dignity of Mars here is going to really go a long way towards expressing this authenticity, where she's definitely the type of woman where, you know Pisces is very peaceful, it's disarming, it's chill, but when people get to know her, she's definitely a fire starter. I mean, and you would understand that because you have your moon in Aries too, and this can naturally sync your moods. Fire sparker, as well as just like confident, but more so instinctually reactive and very passionate. But Uranus,
Ah.
the thing with us Uranus moons is that we can be very crazy and crazy in a super genius way, very progressive. Like the way, especially her, representing such a important facet of the new generation, where her ability to process the truth of information will be near instant. It may not necessarily be like, it won't be conventional though, but it will be genius. And we see Pluto squares her moon. So this is going to be really dealing with more intensity of feeling, negativity from others, purity of intent is actually very intense. And it's something that will influence you because her Pluto squares your moon too, um, where your Neptune is. So right off the bat, that's very interesting because you have the North Node next to your moon. And so you're a vessel of original destiny, which is even cooler because Mercury is right on your South Node. And so the way you process information is directly linked to this past life, early childhood element. As Solar Queen, by the way, you have the title of Queen as Leo rising, and so you manifest this mastery of value. So right off the bat, both of you are mirror reflections of each other, spanning, of course, different generations, and it's great to see that her North Node is on Saturn in Scorpio, which speaks to the transformative quality of pure energy that she's destined to establish in her philosophy and in her dealings with others, using as a resource, of course, her grounded values. This is cool because you have Jupiter 29 degrees and in Aries. And so this is going to connect close enough to her soul to be a sense of abundance. But right off the bat, um, we know that her sun falls in your eighth house. It falls in the seventh, but it's ruled by the eighth. And so she's going to give you a more keen awareness of your boundaries and also how much you're able to deal with her in ways that uh, kind of engender more intimacy because relative to the first, her and your seventh is a divine partner. But in the eighth, in a way to kind of deal with what you're manifesting and the critical perspectives you manifest, she's going to transform a much more abstract way of taking the perspective you manifest and show you another way to understand it or the completion of it. And so I'm actually very fascinated as to how you experience this connection because whereas you'll be breaking down critically her perspective, she'll be holistically bringing together how it's all correlated and transforming how you take what you initially analyzed. And yeah, well, how would you speak towards that?
It's certainly the most transformative relationship of my life, and everything you said is accurate, spot on. I live what you're saying. Um, she enhances everything that I am, and it's although it's I couldn't see it coming, or the whole process is a learning um situation that I'm very grateful for. And you don't know that you're prepared until you're doing it. Like, for example, just being a mother in general, just if you think about giving birth, it's like, how do I don't know how to do this, but no, inherently you do know how to do it, and the fact that now you have to do it, it's time for the baby to come out. You do it and you learn. Oh, I know how to do it, and it's empowering. So that's what our relationship is like.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. It is, and I'm very grateful for my daughter, and I'm very aware that she's chosen me for a reason. So I like to keep that in the forefront of our life. It's like we are on a journey, a soul journey together. That's what it feels like, and that's what it sounds like you have described is reading, looking at the astrological alignment.
Nice. And also, does she share her dreams with you?
Not typically, but she has a journal that she loves to write in.
Oh, nice. That's amazing.
Extremely creative, always building, drawing, designing. So it's like a constant manifestation. I call her young prophet. It's you can see the things that she said. A lot of times our thoughts are in alignment. I know that she's very aware of what other people, such as myself or others, are thinking. Even as a child, to see how she uses her energy, to see how she knows what to say, when to say it, or what to laugh at, which children typically do. But it's like, wait a second, she's very aware and is able to control the scenario with her wit.
That's amazing.
Yes, yes, she's awesome. She's awesome. So I'm very very grateful. And I know we have a very different path, and it's very spiritual. So that's the best part.
Right. And I mean, wow, really that really helps make a lot more sense of how personally um she works with, her Jupiter and Gemini with the wit and also which is child prodigy energy and also just her ingenious because um 23 degrees of Pisces sun is one of the highest levels of awareness anyone can have. So like with her Uranus energy too, like within moments she can really gain the understanding of a situation before she even knows why once again. And she also has Chiron in Pisces, so she's also a divine healer. With Neptune and Mercury here, it's just she may be misunderstood because for the first part of her life, or really all her life, even though this is attached to, we're going to use whole sign systems, all this would be in her first house. But this falls in 12 from the 27-degree AC. So the way she processes information is expressly nonlinear. This squares Jupiter and Gemini. So it's not that she can't linearly process information, but she may be able to gain elements of the truth without needing to inductively or deductively reason. And this is where you, with your Virgo energy, can ground that for her. You can kind of be like, oh, well, here are the details. This might be why you're sensing what you're sensing. And then it'll bring the full picture, which once again is important because in her chart, you're actually going to fall in her seventh house. You're going to fall more in her sixth house, but because she's a Pisces rising, similarly, you're able to harness this level of partnership where you integrate the quality of her lifestyle in an effort to holistically, of course, detail elements of her behavior that can really take all of this imaginative, hidden, private elements of her and ground, which once again I think is valuable because you are able to see her here, right? And really look into how she uniquely expresses herself in ways that will also hold her accountable in case she may, like most Pisces, escape through imagination, which is not necessarily at all always bad, especially with Neptune here. This will speak to how gifted and skilled she is at imagineering and healing. Venus and Pisces will speak of an unconditionally loving heart that's creative as well. But we know that your moon falls in her first, second house, so it speaks to how well you both identify with each other. And then her moon is in your eighth, but connected to the ninth. So you have the Pluto Saturn connection, which is interesting because Pluto being in her eighth, connected to the ninth house, will add more intensity to this pure karma or authority over pure energy she possesses. And then, of course, her MC is 28 degrees Sagittarius. So your karma and Uranus here, which being born 87 puts you a part of this nature of, you know, um, busting the system here and really innovating avenues and animals and innovating avenues and channels of success relative to how realistically you're, putting yourself out there to relative to this in your fifth, um, you know, gain so much more authority through creativity and innovate elements of the system as well. Especially as this controls more clairvoyant flashes of visions. Um, this will speak to how you apply this karma to her career path because the 10th house in astrology has a lot to do with this element and sense of what you look up to. And so this is going to influence very greatly this sense of how not only how magically you're influenced by other people, but how much more magically you will influence her career. And
Hmm.
not right. And not only that, um, but also in a p- but also in a way where personally you're going to innovate with Uranus there, how she comes into success. And maybe, Saturn will bring a challenge. So Saturn will kind of construct it. Normally when you Saturn or anything in the 10th comes here, you could be like a manager or you're going to be someone who influences how they really come into success. Although Uranus will add a lot of unconventionality,
Thank you.
I think this is a very important point because she has her MC 28 degrees Sagittarius. So her legacy is to be seen in this world and to change the way the world, uh, you know, kind of sees the truth and sees into meaning. Why this is even more important is because her IC is going to be 28 degrees Gemini, where your Chiron is. And so that's really interesting because the IC is correlated to your mother and your home, and you have your Chiron on her IC, which will speak towards healing this sense of how she truthfully connects with family, which is very
Hmm.
important personally, right? Because it really goes a long way towards, um, really, in your case, influencing ideas and a more holistic understanding of how she processes truth, understands truth. And if we think Chiron and Gemini is healing communication, and so a lot of how you communicate to her will naturally, challenge these themes and notions. And what would you say your experience of that is, Chiron being in her fourth like that?
I can relate to everything you're saying pertaining to influencing the family perspective or relationships. Um, because she is my daughter, my views, typically get pushed onto her. And it is very interesting when you spoke of the mother influence in the fourth house because um, she's a Pisces Sun, Aries Moon, and my mother is a Aries Sun, Pisces Moon. So it's very interesting. And of course, they're like best friends, and I'm right in the middle there. And it's a great family dynamic to navigate.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Your mother and her have the same sun and moon. That's very fascinating.
Well, wait, not the same sun and moon. Opposites. Like she's Pisces Sun, Aries Moon. Grandma is
Oh,
Aries Sun, Pisces Moon.
that's amazing. That's
I
like,
know.
wow. That's
So when you spoke of like the matriarchal, the fourth house influence and the
yeah,
family, the mother, that's the first thing I thought of. And I mean, I can give you a story. Every point you've made, I can give you a story that correlates with it. About it's very apparent that she's going to be seen and who she is very different and unique. And that's what her name represents. Um, Something of uniqueness. And just with that so much Uranus energy and her the day she's being born on, that being that number represented by Uranus and numerology, and then all of her Pisces energy being ruled by Uranus, or I don't know if you do whole house system if it works like that or not. If I'm talking about a different system, but like her, let's see, if she's Pisces rising, then uh all the 12th house energy would be ruled by Uranus.
right.
That's what I mean. So there's so much Uranus influence. She has so much uploads. Like I was saying, like you mentioned, the insight. I call her the young prophet or the ancient sage, and it's like she
Right.
says things and they're so on point, you know. And I do provide her lifestyle. She wants to sew. She has a sewing machine. She likes this. She likes to draw. She has canvases and paint. That's what parents do in general. But I'm very proactive in that nature, just making sure. Like that's my main goal is making sure she's not put in a box. Because first of all, she's not gonna fit your box. I didn't fit your box. She's not gonna fit your box. I can already tell you that. I'm not gonna subject her to that type of indoctrination. She's a totally different being on purpose, and I'm grateful that she's here. And it's all about her being able to express herself, you know,
Right. And that's really good to know she's very artistic and creative.
the most. The most, and it makes sense. Like she has pink hair right now, and like for example, that's things like how the structure and the, being a parent and having to balance. You know, the child wants,
Mhm.
I want pink hair, mom. I want to dye my hair pink, and I'm like, that might not be the
Mhm.
healthiest. The Virgo in me, the practical. Well, I don't know, honey. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll get pink hair extensions. There's always a balance, and that's the constant scenario between her and I. And that's that's
Mhm.
that's love when you find a way. You don't break and force, but you bend and be flexible to
Right.
create. Yes, it's very beautiful. I have to change, so a lot of times on with the human perspective, we're like, oh, change. It's like that's the only constant in life is change. So be mad if you want to, or just get with the flow. Be formless and enjoy this experience. It's all possible, all expand in reality. It is what you want. So know that, be that, create that. And I look at my job as a parent, as and as her mom in particular, is like I had to provide the environment that I had to like cultivate her so she can be what she wants to be. She's not gonna be me, she's gonna be her. And that's okay. I just have to make it safe for her and give her the resources like you mentioned, um, and just make it a pleasurable experience for her. And I know that her perspective as a child and as a different energetic entity is going to be different than my perspective. So it's like finding a way to make it happy and fun for both of us, and just this creative, all possible experience. I've been homeschooling her for the last 2 years. Like it had nothing to do with the health situation, the world, but it was just internal knowing that I can and want to and will give her much more than the status quo, because she'll be able to go much further with that. Um, it's a little
No,
bit
that's
about
amazing.
us, and I think, yeah. No, thank
I
you so
really
much.
no, and thank you for really speaking about, the reality of the compromise because that's really amazing. Plus, I'm always fascinated at how predictably, people with Pisces aqua placements love dyeing their hair. Like they love going with the purple. Really, it's fascinating. I wonder if they're tapping
uh,
alien vibration in a world where they all wear purple or something like that. But yeah.
purple and glitter, purple glitter sparkles.
Right, right.
So it's a
And
very magical, magnetic, magnetism. Like she's so magnetism, and that's a concept that we focus on a lot of. And with her energy, like I had to get her one of those balls that you put your hand on that the children play with, and like the electricity that makes me think of her, like playing with electricity. She loves telepathy, like that concept. She read about it in a comic book, and she talks about it
right.
nonstop. And I'm like, oh, that's so Uranus. Oh, okay, I get it.
Well, okay,
What's
see,
that?
this is she has those abilities. She has like all the abilities, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like based on the whole sign system, she's in the first, but most of this is like a supernatural, transcendent Piscean understanding. So I'm so glad that she's tapped into that already. Because, for example, her having this alien energy like so is very important because she's going to represent the next generation of supernatural ability, which can lend her to be misunderstood because of the way she's able to discern so much of this knowledge. And if we think about it, um, I have a story. So the alien construct article will show you how Moon Uranus can read the minds of teenagers. So before I even knew about astrology, my very first psychic experience was when I was 11, 12 years old. And I was in a Boys and Girls Club. I had to take someone younger than me, maybe like he was in third grade. His name was also Michael, to the bathroom. And so I put my hand on his head, and he asked me, how much money do I have in my wallet? And so I heard 21, 21, 21. I literally say $21. And the look he gives me of surprise was like ridiculous because he couldn't believe that I got it right. And after that, I was trying to guess, like think of a fruit or think of something else. And I got it wrong every time. And it wasn't until later that I realized, oh, this was an unconscious understanding of it, right? And because my hand was on his head, I have Moon and Uranus and Capricorn, and the Taurus energy made it
Oh,
induced by touch, right? She
I
has it in air, right? So
okay.
this will just be an instinctual understanding where she'll just be able to know things, read minds, and fostering this level of creativity through imagination is definitely very important because it will definitely, go a long way towards really not only fostering this, she's going to be very unconscious for a while about how everything she writes in her journal and imagines actually manifests in real life.
Ooh. Okay,
With
yes.
this,
Sketchbooks, the
but
journals.
exactly, but you'll be keenly aware of this
We're
because
doing
you'll
it
be
on
able.
purpose. Like it's documentation because you're gonna that's the whole thing. Bring it into reality. It's in your mind. So let's
Yeah,
create it. That's what you're here for.
I love that. You're right. It's even more on purpose, if anything. So, yeah, I mean, it's just very, very key because once again, my heart goes out to this generation because, like, my biggest dream was to really create a world where people openly acknowledge their natural abilities and not are suppressed to look at it as crazy. And her generation is going to be the generation to mainstream this. Like everyone
Art.
born after 95. Yeah,
Yes,
the
I
rainbow.
honestly learn more from her.
And so honestly, like you've done the whole world a service by bringing this level of being and energy into this world. And thank you so much. It
Thank you for saying that.
goes a long way. And to even see on top of that, you both share the synastry is even more profound. And so,
Is that our rising signs at the same degree when you said we share the synastry?
oh, I'm so glad you
Because
mentioned
I
that
think, yeah, I
too.
wanted to ask you about that because I was like, and that's something I picked up on one day, and I was like, how did you take so long to realize that? And that's supposed to matter.
Oh, yeah. In fact, it's a lot more relevant than it would seem on the surface because this, right? Especially if we use the equal sign system, then your eighth house is where her rising is, and her sixth house is where your rising is. So it has a lot to do with transformation and integration. And even more important, you know, you natural you naturally got me to do this. My rising sign is 27 degrees.
Okay, let's go.
Right. But in Taurus. So that's just it's so fascinating. And yeah, that's very, very
Triple
I
threat.
mean, yeah, and on top of having the opposite suns of the same moon sign, or yeah, that's just very, very key. So she's definitely going to be the instrument of your transformation, and of course, more so being able to deal more intimately. Whereas similar to the Virgo energy, you're going to really influence a lot of how she integrates in her behavior and lifestyle a lot of these mechanics. But regardless, this is definitely very, very profound. It's going to really link both of you at that personality level very amazingly. And Neptune is currently retrograde, 23 degrees right on her sun. So this is a very special period where, unlike ever before, she's tapping into this supernatural energy. So Neptune is the astral realm of imagination.
Oh.
She's really gifted at astral projection, lucid dreaming, literally projecting her conscious out of reality, etherically, being able to really see the underlying meaning of experiences that can blend and overlap. The only negative or consequence to this energy is she may have an inability to disassociate what is real from what is imagined or dream world. And not really necessarily like at a basic level, but like there's certain things she can manifest that she won't necessarily always know is actually her own like supernatural ability. And really, it's it,
Oh.
the ironic thing here is she's not really wrong. Like if she's not able to differentiate it, it's not that she can't differentiate it, it's that she's seeing both realms. So it's really other people's inability to vibrate on her level that will make it harder for her to realize, oh, okay, this isn't something that's conventional in this reality because she's seeing it purely as it is. And so this is where personally Neptune on here is transcending her ability to not only be aware, but to connect holistically how every experience is correlated into one. And her son's awareness, even though at this point she's progressed into Aries, her son's awareness natally on her Pisces sun is showing her through this realm into the astral. It's kind of like
It's
having astral.
so incredible. It's everything you're saying. Like, for example, she'll come downstairs and be like, "Oh, I would love some French fries," and I'd be like, "Oh, I just ordered some French fries with for us." Like that
Wow,
happens all the time.
that's
Things like
amazing.
that, or it's like she'll say something, and I'm like, "I was just sending an email about that." Or she'll say something and we'll walk by a location the next day and I'll be like, oh, remember you said that yesterday? So, yes, to everything you're
Wow.
saying. I always point out to her the things that she says, revealing herself right before us. Like sometimes much more instant than others. But it's just like being aware, like it's right there. You just said that.
Wow. That's amazing, especially because she hasn't even come into her Saturn return yet. So, like, her mastery of this is just going to be on a whole nother level. And, this is where, if we now look at the composite chart between both of you, she has, or both of you would now be a composite Gemini sun with the moon in Aries. So, both of you are like the original truth. This is even cooler because you both have a Gemini rising and then Mars on the sun. I'm actually going to share this chart with you as well.
Okay,
So,
awesome. Thank you. So that shows
yeah.
like that shows the entity that's created when we come together, our energies come
Yep.
together, the composite chart. Okay.
Which is
Nice.
a literal angel. Both
And
of
you
you
said a
share an
bunch of
enlightened.
Gemini. Oh right. Angel.
Yep.
Okay.
So you share an enlightened angelic connection. And this makes sense, of course. As a Sagittarius, Gemini and Sagittarius meet in Virgo or Pisces, just like Virgo and Pisces meet in Gemini or Sagittarius. So both of you, of course, share a connection of truth. And it's cooler because both of you are Gemini rising. And so, oh my God, that's so crazy. My clock says 10:44, and that's the angel number, 44.
Oh,
Wow.
that's excellent. As you're saying that, right? These things, divine alignment, the confirmation.
Never a dull moment. So yeah, I mean, um, that's very important because the North Node's in Gemini. It's literally right opposite your shared Pluto, 9 degrees. And we're having this reading. So that's like unlocking the deeper meaning of the identity of this relationship both of you have together. And if we look at the seventh house, there's Pluto.
I knew
There is
Scorpio has something to do with it. I was like, isn't the moon in Scorpio today? Is this why this had to happen today? This is Scorpio.
Oh my God, I'm glad you actually
I
said
was like,
that.
I don't know if the moon's in Libra or Scorpio. I'm gonna look it up, but I was like, it's Scorpio. It's
The
revealing
moon is
stuff.
29 degrees Libra.
29
Yes.
degrees.
And that ding happened right when you said that. And it's about to go to Scorpio.
Oh, I did that. I've been doing that
Oh, nice, nice, nice. That's awesome.
intentionally.
Oh, even better, even cooler. But yeah, it's about to go to Scorpio. And once again, if we look at the composite chart, you have Mercury, Venus, and Pluto in Sagittarius opposite this. Now, this is actually impossible because Mercury is Mercury is
Happening
never
right
going to be
now.
opposite the sun, right? Mercury is usually just going to be next to it. But this really just speaks to, maybe you can put that as Gemini, really, but this just speaks to the unconventional quality of your connection, where you're simultaneously seeing into the meaning of everything you're thinking. This is what's going to bring also this magical element of synchronicity between you two. And then it's even cooler because both of you have a 27-degree Scorpio Saturn, which is going to be highly influenced by both of your risings. This is in the sixth house, so it speaks to a mutual discipline of how both of your behaviors are influenced together. And once again, this really goes a long way towards realistically setting apart some sense, if I say so, of, you know, um, purity, because this is an element of pure energy. But most importantly, when the North Node goes into Taurus, it's going to immediately unlock this shared karma. So both of you have this pure karma shared. Um, Other than that, did you have any questions so far?
No, well, not any new questions thus far.
Sweet. Um, Other than that, yeah, we do see that Jupiter is on the opposite end in Taurus. This is a transcendent element and level of value that will go a long way towards being manifested. Okay. And with Uranus in Aquarius, this also speaks to, um, you know, the unconventionality, which is actually wild too, because once again, 2013 puts her Uranus in Aries, so to see it shared in Aquarius is extraordinary. And then so it'll speak to the because it trines the Gemini Sun. This is also now taking the quality of the enlightened energy you have, or where expressly both of you coming in means that the truth is revealed. That's the way to see this. It's like if
Hmm.
you're all both a true mirror, and so like in between the both of you, you can actually uncover a lot of truth and identify with this truth by really, coming into it, even if unconsciously. And this is where now Uranus that trines this will add claircognizance mutually to this experience of truth and bring to light the higher knowledge of what it is you're communicating and what the experience actually is, which is also supernatural and unconventional, but can have practical elements. Neptune is here, so this will add intuition too. But this is very interesting because the ninth house with Juno is going to speak to this self-taught philosophy, but also how your connection together can bring higher knowledge into form. It's just a lot of this can happen automatically. It's not like y'all would have to think about it consciously. It's just like going to be how the mental energy is directed, which is very fascinating. Especially because Jupiter has gone through here, Saturn is here right now, and Uranus is like squaring all of this on the Jupiter. I would say what's even more fascinating is that you have North Node, 25 degrees Capricorn, and so this speaks to the level of intimacy that you're both destined to deal with each other or deal with others through. Capricorn is actually speaking how both of you together are destined for greatness and to
That's
bridge.
awesome.
Yeah, especially in the second house, you're using the resources of the sincere quality of your value together to really indicate that. So it's a really great way of speaking. It's a really great way of indicating how both of you would do well if you ever did business together, or if you kind of helped each other, which is also cool.
Oh, okay. I don't. When I look at our chart, like, from a beginner perspective, it looks like we both have our MC in the 10th house. So then when you just mentioned it, how it plays out in the composite chart with the Capricorn at 25 degrees, you said MC?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I
Okay.
think that was actually very relevant that you brought that up. Also, as far as both of your, as far as both of what you both have in the 10th house.
Well, that's I guess how I tried to learn and piece it together. I put what I knew about me on a piece of paper and what I knew about her right next to it. And it's like, it also looks like we both have our North Node in the 8th house, one in mine in Aries and hers in Scorpio. So there's that Pluto dynamic that you spoke of.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say the crucial thing is
One more time?
What was that? Oh, I would say the crucial thing is this also speaks a lot to how realistically you personally. Oh wow. This also speaks a lot to how realistically you personally deal with this sense of, now that your energy is awakening a lot more, her energy awakening your energy, let's just say.
Exactly. I'm empowered through her because I want to, I want to be able to teach her, so I have to show and prove, or I want to have a solution available for her. Same concept. I have to show and prove.
And once again, this going such a long way that it goes will influence quite radically how realistically you moving forward will be, let's just say, bringing everything full circle. Especially seeing that, I think the coolest part of the chart, she brings direct evolution to the connection, given that both of you have the Gemini rising, and her rising is in Gemini. And this is also cool because the moon is directly opposite your Jupiter right now, which will really facilitate unique understanding of this expansion and abundance. So it's really going to be fascinating moving forward to see how, a lot of your own energy is triggered by her development, and of course vice versa. Since, now we're at that sweet spot. Neptune is exactly on her sun, and both of you
I'm laughing because you said the word trigger. You said Neptune's on her sun, and right, and then I'm the Virgo. Yes, which is also what makes it an empowering experience. Like, I have to be not responsive to who she is. I have to be not triggered, and so that's part of the journey for me as well. finding a way to express myself as well as letting her express herself, and neither one of us were not triggering each other or like overpowering or anything of that nature. Like we both have Mars in the first house, so very very dynamic people, exuberant energies, and just creating a platform where we're both able to shine. So it's a beautiful experience and so much to be grateful for, to even to be together and to have the opportunity and the awareness.
Exactly. And I feel like it's gonna go a long way towards realistically bringing not only everything full circle, but putting you in a position realistically to really level each other up. Especially as Jupiter is going to go over Pisces next year and directly evolve her. And this is where her abilities really start kicking in and coming more online than ever before. Just in time for you to complete elements of very relevant returns in your chart as well. So, I mean, it's something to look forward to, realistically. And, thank you so much for sharing this with me as far as being able to see how magical this connection both of y'all share is. I would say it's actually very interesting because the North Node is on her Jupiter right now too. So she has very relevant aspects that are activating right now. And this is going to not only bring, evolution, but it's really going to kick off a different, let's just say, phase of how she taps into this energy.
That is awesome.
Yeah. What was that?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, sweet. No, I mean, if anything, thanks again for calling in, and I'll send you this recording right now.
I wasn't able to hear that. Can you repeat that?
No, it's totally fine. I was going to say thanks for calling in, and if anything, I'll send you this recording right now.
Excellent. Yes, thank you so much for your service, Peace Dealer. I know I'm gonna listen to this a bajillion times, like I have the other reports that were done. So this has been a fantastic consultation, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And I learned a lot already. So thank you so much.
No problem, and you stay blessed as always.
All right. Peace.
Alrighty.